Good morning, guys. Welcome back to Bearded Lumber. It's a beautiful, cool fall morning. Couldn't ask for any better. Today we're going to cover our Wood Mizer BMS250 sharpener and our 150 manual setter. So hang on, give me just a minute and we'll be right back. Okay guys, appreciate you tuning in this morning. We're confused like the weather. I started out with a jacket and already had to take it off, but when I walked out the door this morning it was a little chilly. It was in the mid-low 50s. Change of pace. We've had a lot of long, hot summer days. Matthew and I was longing for a little cooler weather. Well, we got it. We're recovering from the hurricane, getting everything back to normal. Our thoughts and prayers go out to the ones in Florida. Two back to back. I mean, just Lord have mercy. But anything you can do to help those people, and take the opportunity, please do so. But today we will talk about our sharpener. I'm not exactly sure. It's been at least a year since we had it. I didn't write down the date. Should have wrote down the date. But get a lot of people ask, why I bought a sharpener. Should I buy a sharpener? Is it cost effective? And I want to try to cover those in this video. Start off with why I bought a sharpener. I used our local resharp service. Excellent. Used them for many years, and I didn't saw enough to even consider buying one of these. And I'd send them a box once, twice a month maybe, and if it took 4 weeks, 6 weeks to get it back, wasn't that big a deal. Well, Matthew and I went full-time sawing and got busier and busier, and next thing you knew, we were up to, Lord have mercy, we had 300 or 400 blades, because I'd have to have my inventory on the shelf, and then I'd have the inventory over there getting ready to be sharpened, and then I'd have the inventory in the mail, then I'd have the inventory in the mail coming back, and it just got to be not worth the hassle as a bigger sawyer. Because I had a lot of money in blades. We haven't bought but a couple boxes in over a year because I had so many. I haven't bought a Turbo 745 since I bought the machine because we had so many of them. Now we're down to about 2 packs, and they've been sharpened 8, 10 plus times, and about every time I run one, they're breaking. So it won't be long. All those will get out of here. I got 2 new boxes sitting over there. We have bought several boxes of the 55 thousandths Turbo 7s. That's what I'm sharpening this morning, and I'm going to have to buy a couple more of them real soon. And if you know anything about blades, the 55s don't last near as long, but they do what I want them to do as far as cut quality. Now, that's for another video. That's why I bought it, to be able to cut down on my inventory and not have such a long lead time. Because our local resharp, like I say, was excellent, but they had a huge customer that would bring in 500 plus blades, and every time I call over, hey, you about done with my blades? I really need them. Well, we got so-and-so brought in 500 blades, it's gonna be a little while. I'm like, I know where I'm at on the pecking order, so I'm gonna take care of that. Now, should you invest what I did into your own sharpener? And that's completely up to you. How many blades are you using per month? How many blades you have to maintain in inventory? Are you getting back what you think you should get back? Are the blades sharp? Are they set right? This, that, and the other. And another factor in that is Wood Mizer has gotten out of the resharp business for whatever reason. A lot of your corporate Wood Mizer dealers no longer offer resharp. Now, so some of your independents do. That's their business decision. It worked out fine for me because I was out of the resharp business anyway. So the expense, I don't know exactly dollars. It's probably close to $4,000 time you buy the 250 sharpener, and I bought the 150 setter because I didn't want to pay. The setter was more than the sharpener. Now that being said, I will probably get the upgraded setter when we can afford it. Because the 150 works great, but the automatic one would be a blessing. So it is a lot of money up front, but if you're sawing through a blade a week, a box a week, 2 boxes a week, it'll pay for itself overnight. First week we had over 100 blades for ourselves that needed sharpened, and time you figure the shipping it over, sharpening it, and shipping it back, if we don't count any labor, you know, it paid a lot of itself off the first week just sharpening that pack of 100 blades, and we've used it numerous times from then. Since then, consumables can be a little expensive. Bucket oil, I'm on my, yeah, ain't too bad. We're on the second bucket of oil, about $150 a bucket. The CNB grinding wheels, get the camera turned. I got 4 of them here that are good. There's 3 more on the shelf over there I've wore out, and they've went up a little bit. They're in the $220 range. And if you take care of them, they'll sharpen a lot of blades. 200, 400 blades. Now you got to remember that each time you go around that blade, that counts as a blade. So if you've bumped one or miscut it and you go around that blade twice, you need to count that as sharpening 2 blades, because you went around that thing twice, so you're putting wear and tear on it. I made a mistake a while back. I was sitting here sharpening the blade, and we got a little magnet. You put that on the back side of the blade and it rides all the way around, and there's a little eye over here that senses that magnet and turns it off. Occasionally, if you don't get it positioned right, it'll get hung and the magnet won't come all the way back around. Well, I had a guy show up, and I just run out and talked to him. Then I had another customer show up, talked to them. About an hour and a half later, I come back over here and I turned the corner, I heard that thing cycling. I was like, oh Lord, no. So it had run an hour and a half at least, just around and around. Don't make that mistake. Cost me a $220 wheel because it eat all the diamond off of it. You know, so don't walk away from your machine. If something happens, you need to go somewhere, just hit the stop button. You come back, restart it. That's a free $200 lesson. You know, maybe you won't have to learn it. Other than that, I mean, it's not that expensive to run. Don't pull any electricity. They're a little more aggravating in the wintertime. I could tell this morning it was 50 degrees when I turned the oil on. It took it a minute to get started. And if you're going to run one of these in the dead of winter, you got to have some heat in your building, or that oil will not flow. Even though it's a real thin mineral based cutting oil, it still won't flow in cold weather. And we have that problem down here. This building's not insulated. If we're going to sharpen blades in the middle of winter, have to bring the heater down here, get the building warmed up, get the oil warmed up, and then it'll start cycling. So just bear that in mind. If you live in a super cold climate, you're going to need this sharpener either in a heated space or a space that you can heat when you want to use it. And if you do that, just know up front, you're going to have to heat the building 20 minutes, 30 minutes before you can actually go to work. Because if you're not flowing oil, you're going to burn the grinding wheel up on it. So I don't regret buying it. When I get done sharpening, I'm going to go over here and I'm going to saw. And if there's a problem, there's only one person you can complain to. He did the sharpening and the setting. But the setter or the sharpener is pretty straightforward. I can teach anybody that will listen and pay attention in a 30 minutes. I can have them sharpen blades like a pro. Now this setter over here, let me tell you, this is a whole different animal. And it's not the tool's fault. It's the blade's fault. A new blade has got a proper set from the factory, hopefully. Most of the time they're pretty good, but they will be off a little bit every now and then. But you go in there and you set that blade, you got them like you want, you go all the way around, and it's good. And you sharpen it again, and it's good. Well, once you get up into the 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 sharpenings, you've got some temper in that blade, or you've lost some temper in that blade. And when you try to set it, they don't set out there. You know, they kind of wander around a little bit. And that's just the nature of the beast. The older your blade, the harder it is going to be to set consistently. I was sawing some yesterday, I had to put some dollars in my swear jar, but and it wasn't nothing to do with the way I sharpened them, the way I set them. It's just the blade's old and it won't hold a good true set. And if you're having problems setting older blades, that's more likely your issue is you don't have a consistent temper all the way around that blade. It might have got hot in a spot in the number of times you used it, and you push it out to 25 degrees like the rest of the teeth, and it pulls back in. It don't hold, you know. Or what normally happens is you push them to get this. Just imagine that we're going to take this blade out to 25 degrees. Well, you don't push it out to 25. You might actually push it out to 29, and then the metal pulls back, like that, you know, because it's a spring steel, and you push it out and it comes back, and you check it with dial indicator. Oh, that's dead on. Let's go all the way around it. You get your dial caliper out, you go around and check them, and you'll get one, you pushed it out and it didn't spring back. You know, it lost the temper of the blade. You just pushed it out of set like you did the rest of them, and it stayed out there. And you go over and cut with it, and you're cutting tiger stripes in your wood. I had to remind myself of that yesterday. Like I said, I was getting quite irritated with it, not sawing good. You get old blades, either deal with it or throw it away and get a new one. So, enough of that. What else? Would I do this as a business? Personally, no. I'm not interested in sharpening blades for a living. The profit margin for the equipment I have is not there. If you want to do this for a living, you need to buy the next size up machine here and 2 sizes up on this. And then you got something that can do a better quality work, and you're still gonna have the same issues I got. Somebody brings you a bunch of blades that you've resharpened 6, 8 times, and you set them, they take them home, and they're not happy with them. It's not your fault. It's not the machine's fault. The blade's just old. So I'm not gonna deal with that. I'm a sawyer. I can sharpen my own blades, and if I got a problem with it, I'll take it off, put another one on. If I got a problem with it, take it off, put another one on. You know, and I'll have a talk with the sharpener, get his act together. So, but no, I will not. I sharpen for a couple local sawyers just as a convenience. It kind of offsets buying some of the consumables, but no, I'm not going to do this 5 days a week. Not with this, not with the current equipment I have. It's not fast enough. So, but it's great for my personal use. I can sit over here. I think I got 16 blades I need to get done this morning. You know, hour and a half, 2 hours. If I don't spend too much time in front of the camera, I can knock them out and go back to work. Kind of fills in the gaps. Rainy days, like this morning. If y'all don't know, Matthew's wife is pregnant, extremely pregnant. She's due any day, and they're off taking care of that. Maybe by the time, well, I can about guarantee you the time this video comes out, I'll have another grandbaby, and we'll introduce you to it at a later date. But that being said, it's something I can do this morning without over. I can go saw, but we've worked hard this week trying to catch up, and we're in a kind of a soft spot. So I won't do this because I'm out of these. I need them. Now let's talk about the machine. That's enough. That's enough rambling on about that. Okay, guys. Sorry about that. Matthew says I get to rambling, but I'll watch you. I'm a consumer of YouTube as well as a producer, and I love to sit and listen to somebody that's giving good information, not just talking a bunch of junk. But I hope some of that was helpful. Now let's talk about our machine. We got our blade loaded up. This machine runs in a clockwise rotation. I've already marked my blade with some dye lube or layout fluid. If you buy this, buy the blue. I will next time. Every time you put it on there, it looks like you sliced your fingers open. There's red everywhere. But I'll have to buy some. It won't be long. This works good because when you try to see that rake and this gullet, it's hard to tell, especially on a new blade, whether you're actually cutting it. Well, if you come over here where I've wiped this red dye on it, as that goes through the cutter, see how it looks like you had a bad day? Yeah, buy blue next time. But as that goes through the cutter, you can easily tell if you're cutting the face and the gullet cleanly. But you want to cut as little as possible. And I'm the world's worst at that. I like, you know, hit it hard once, be done. Well, these little wheels are expensive and they don't last that long if you abuse them. So you want to take as light a pass on the face as well as the gullet. Now I will tell you that face cut does most of the damage to your wheel. If your blade is not advancing far enough and you're hitting that thing hard, you will lose your diamonds right here first. So be most careful on that straight cut going down. You just want to lightly touch it, like a chainsaw. If it's sharp, all you want to do is fine tune it. And then you take a little bit out of the gullet. Now the gullet, it don't matter if you take just a little bit more, because if you get a stress crack in your blade, it's going to be in that gullet. And it'll be a micro crack, you know. But when you swap that gullet clean, that micro crack goes away and you can continue to use your blade. You can extend the life of your blade that way. But light passes, light enough to do the work. That's all you need. If you need a lot of work done, take a light pass and make 2 trips. When it comes back around, you know, change your adjustment. Either move your blade back a little bit where it cuts the face, or raise the bottom up just a little bit so it cuts the gullet. Make 2 passes around, save wear and tear on your wheel. Setup is not that difficult. When you switch, you know, I'm doing all turbo 7s. When I come in this morning, it had a 4 degree on it. So I had to do a little adjustment left, right to get it centered up for turbo 7s versus 4 degree, because, you know, everything's off just a little bit. And if you got a box of brand new blades and you've used them once and you come over here and sharpen them, you can basically set this thing up one time and do all your blades with, you shouldn't really have to touch it because they're all exactly the same height, you know. Now when you get a mixed box like I got, most of these have been sharpened twice. About half of them, maybe this will be their 3rd time. So there'll be just a little variation in that. Now my turbo 7s, they're all over the place. So every one you have to adjust the height up and down so that you're taking enough to do the job, but just barely enough. So easiest way to do it with these, this machine comes with a variable speed, which is very helpful. I use a chair. It makes it convenient for me. I can pull up a chair. Now, what I'm going to do, I got my head lowered down. Over here's your controls. This one is for your motor, and this one is for your oil. There you go. Now, what we'll do is just cycle through it slowly and visually inspect. You can get out here where you can see. So I'm watching right here where the grinding wheel is versus the tooth. I want to see how it interacts. Okay, I'm going to slow down the variable speed. Go ahead and turn my oil on. Turn the grinder on. It will. Didn't let the motor wind up, my fault. Okay. Seems a little excessive, so let's lower it down. That's right where the other one was, but just not happy with it. There we go. Now here goes our guy through the machine. Pull a flashlight out. See the cut. Okay. Also, you want to count, it takes about 17 times to pass right here. I'll take a little magnet and drop it in. It sets right at the bottom of the blade. That's going to travel all the way around. When it gets back over here, there's a little indicator, and it will complete the circuit, and it will turn the machine off. Now, how fast can you run it? I'm running it pretty hard on their scale of 1 to 6. I'm running at about a 4.5 speed. I don't know what feet per minute that is, but that's about the sound I'm looking for. It's just slightly on the heavy side. I'm gonna let it run. If I didn't have a camera in my hand, I'd probably loosen it up, let it down just a thousandth or so. So it's doing great work. Yeah, you take your fingers, guys. Do not rake your hand across the blade. If it feels prickly, it's sharp. And this blade's pretty sharp coming in on this side, but it's definitely sharper going out. Like I say, these are 55 thousandths blades. If you watched any of my videos, you know I'm a fan of them. Mizer don't recommend them for an LT35. It's my machine, I'll run what I want, and these blades do what I want in knotty pine such as that. They're a little more expensive, they don't last as long, but you can cut the hound out. You can cut the hound out of some wood with it. So, here comes our magnet. Normally if it gets hung up, it'll hit this roller right here, and it'll stop. But it's traveling right through. Almost done. We'll go ahead and run a full revolution on it. I know you guys that don't have one, it's good information because I couldn't find a lot of it before I bought mine. But that's about how long it takes to run a blade. Now, if you wore the top off, maybe you were sawing pecan or hickory, you didn't damage the blade, you just wore a lot of the top of the tooth off, you may want to run it, come over here and basically raise the blade up just a thousandths and run it again. No damage, just a lot of wear. Now if you've contacted a nail, and I resharpen most of the ones I've hit with a nail. If it's just a little section of teeth, you know, we'll go through and fix it. Now if it's a quarter of the blade, break that thing in half, throw it away. But we will fix them. Now that comes with a separate set of challenges. You've got to check, make sure you didn't push one of the teeth way out of whack when it hits something. You have to basically unset it, sharpen it, and then reset it. So this one finished up. It automatically turned everything off. There we go. The machine won't turn back on until you reach in here and get this magnet, because it's completing that circuit. Now to turn back on, it's ready to run the next time. Don't forget your magnet. Get it out. It goes without saying, it's sharp now. You got to be careful. But I'll be honest with you, I've gotten cut as much around here with a dull blade as I have a sharp one. Because if you're doing what you're supposed to, running this blade about 300 to 500 board feet and taking it off, if you haven't hit nothing, you haven't sawed through no dirt, mud, rocks, it'll still be sharp when you take it off. But you got to get it off because this blade needs to rest. Just for you guys that don't know, I can take a brand new blade. If I don't hit nothing, I can run it until this blade is worthless. If I saw 1,000, 1,500 board feet with it because it was still sharp. When I take it off the sawmill, it's garbage. You've run it too long, you've got it too hot, it's lost its temper, it'll never take a setback. More than likely, it will break before you get too much further. It'll probably break while you're on the mill with it. So if you give your blades some respect, keep track of your board footage, 300 to 500 board feet, I don't care if it's sharp or not, take it off. Now, of course, if it gets dull, get it off. If you're running a dull band and you're trying to push it, just trying to keep pushing it, trying to get done, you're ruining the blade, you're getting heat in it, and you're going to cause it to lose its temper. You're going to cause it to not be able to maintain a set. So, you know, it's like your sawmill, you got to take care of it. Yeah, it's a replaceable part, you know, a blade, but if you take good care of this blade, it'll give you good service. So, we'll set it over here. Now, that's the easy part. I'd sharpen blades all day for the fun of it. I mean, this part's enjoyable. This little turkey over here will drive you crazy. Now, like I said, I can teach anybody that wanted to learn how to sharpen a bandsaw blade and do a good job at it, because it's repeatable. I mean, it just, once you get it set, it goes around. Get it set again, it goes around. This is not as repeatable, and you got to be able to read, you know, your gauge. If you don't have one of these, I highly recommend it. Even if you're not sharpening your own blades, they're handy to have. If you have an issue with your sawmill, and you will, if you saw long enough, you'll have an issue. It'll have a day that thing just will not cut for nothing. And it's just a tool to eliminate this as a problem. You can go in there in a few minutes, you can check set on your blade and say, blade's good, or there's the problem. Let's try a different blade. It's just a good tool. It comes with a dial indicator. Comes with a fancy tool to zero it, but I got an Allen wrench laying here. I clamped the Allen wrench in there just to make sure my gauge is zeroed before I even start this morning. There we go. Because when you look at it here, it's not on zero. But if I put my feeler gauge or my Allen wrench back in there on a flat spot, tighten it up, there you go, back to zero. When I loosen it up, you can see it moves back. Now, that's an important part to do. Just verifies that your gauge is set to where you want it to be before you even start. Yep. And it's going to move within a thousandths. Now, as you well know, the wood miser teeth are set up in sets of 3. 1, 2, 3. And what you're going to have is you're going to have one that faces left, one that faces right, and then one that stands straight up. You'll take your gauge, pop it on here. That's your zero tooth. That's about 19. If I skip 3, 1, 2, 3, and do it again, about 18. 1, 2, 3, about 19. So kind of an average, 18 to 19. Come back over here on the other side of the blade, and about 17, 17, 15, and about 17. So, why is there variance? It's the way it is, people. That's what I hate about this machine. And it's not the machine. It's not the machine's fault. It's the work you're doing with the machine. You're taking spring steel that wants to be like this, and you want it here. Well, to get it here, you got to take it to here and let it come back. It's just the nature of the beast. You bend every tooth out, let's say a 1/4 inch. Most of them will come back to prescribed amount, but there'll be that one that'll stay out there and won't come back, and there'll be that one that'll come back in too far. And that's why I dislike this machine, because it's not 100% repeatable like that sharpener behind me. When you set that tooth up, cut right here. When you get over there, it cut right here. It cut exactly where you told it to. This is not going to function that way, so you got to learn to have a little more variance. Not exactly sure on what Mizer said. It's been a while. I think 22 to 25 is where they come factory. I could be wrong. I got some new ones over there I can go check. But I shoot, I'm happy anywhere from on these 19, 20 all the way up to 28. Don't like to go past 30. And the reason I don't like to go past 30, you're taking out more wood unnecessarily. Biggest thing is a range. I like to stay within 2,000s, but that's impossible. You're going to be more in the 3,000 to 4,000s range. So if you're shooting for 22, you go all the way around there and check every one of them. If you're between 20 and 25, you're probably about as good as you're going to get with this kind of machine and this kind of steel. So don't get upset when you try to do it. Don't fill up your swear jar, because I have. It's not repeatable, and it's not your fault. This machine is set up to bend every blade exactly the way you tell it to. Boop, boop, boop. But they all don't respond the same way. So don't get upset when it don't do what you want it to do, people. Just deal with it. Find that margin of error that you can live with. I'll tell you, if you're within about 4,000ths, you'll never see it in your cut. Now, if you get beyond that, you're gonna see tiger striping. You're gonna see some adverse conditions in your blades. Now, that being said, if they're all dead on the money and you got one or two that's off, it'll cut flat. Now, if you've got one side of this blade at 20 degrees and you got the other side of that blade at 30, it won't cut. It'll go in and it's going to try to either rise or dive. So you need to be within that range side to side. That way your blade will cut flat. If you're if it's the world's perfect and this side is 20 and the other side is 22, it will cut. You're only 2,000ths variance. It will cut good and flat. But if you're 20 and you're pushing 27 on every tooth, or the majority of teeth, you're introducing, that blade. You're making that blade want to cut better one way or the other. So I hope that helps. There's a lot that gets deep in the weeds. This will be the bane of your existence. They do make a automatic version of this. I haven't watched one work, but I think it will work quicker. It's not going to ever work better, because you're still dealing with the blade and its ability to be set and maintain a set. So I fussed at ReSharp over the years, get blades back that wouldn't cut, and didn't know enough about my craft, because it wasn't my craft at the time, to understand they were doing the best they could do with the junk that I sent them, old blades. Now this is a new blade. This is either its second sharp or its third, depending on where it's at in the pack. I got messed up because I had 2 packs open, and I used about 9 or 10, and we resharpened those and put them back in, and then we used them all. So I've ended up kind of out of 30 blades, about 20 of them are on their second sharp, and about 9 or 10 are on their third resharp. But they should hold and maintain a set good, because I've taken care of them, not run them too long, not got them hot. Got any questions on this, guys? Please drop them in the comment section below. I know this is deep in the weeds for a lot of people, but if you're wanting to run one of these, it should be good information to help you know where you put your focus, where you put your effort. Some things like this, it's just nothing you can do. Just know that as you're using older and older blades, it's going to be more and more difficult. If it aggravates you, stomp on that sucker, cut it, break it in half, and get another one. If you've gotten 8 or 10 resharps out of it and you're cutting production wood, put another one on that thing. You've made enough money with that blade, put another one on it and go on. So as always, guys, we appreciate you watching. Here comes Leroy. You gonna say hey? he ain't talking this morning, but like always, we appreciate you watching, guys. Couldn't do it without you. We're growing by leaps and bounds. Keep Matthew and Caitlin in your prayers. They're entering a new world. Never had, this will be their first youngin', so if you've had kids, you know how life's gonna change for them. So that's gonna do it for today. One thing I will say, you know, we've advertised for Joe Maine at the company he worked for a long time for nothing. It's because we like Joe, we like the company. Well, Joe's parted ways with that company, and he is working for Mizer. He's their traveling blade expert. I haven't got a full description of what he does, but he's in charge of their blades. He has the same cell phone he had before. He'll take your call, and he'll be glad to help you out. So get a hold of Joe Maine if you need the sharpener, setter, this kind of stuff, blades. That's going to do it for today, guys. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you back at the mill.
Thank you for watching. Here's a video selection and a playlist suggestion. Click here to subscribe for more great content. We'll see you at the mill.